So today, good morning, Jess. How are you? Oh, Jess, I'm so happy to hear that. Today, we are tackling a crucial yet overlooked aspect of business success. And this is usually the power of clarity and simplicity in your unique value proposition. So, of course, this is the last video of the unique value proposition. And this one should be relatively short and sweet. Unless folks are here with me live, I'd be happy to answer your questions. But basically, the important thing is making sure that you're converting people with your message. So many businesses pile on the buzzwords and the jargon and the intricate details. But the truth is, you kind of lose your customers sometimes. So today we're going to uncover some strategies to craft your unique value proposition that resonates and it connects and it converts. And the easiest way to do that is not thinking about more words or more features or more everything to grab attention. It's more so to come up with a very simple and clear message so people can immediately know that they need to do business with you while trying to decipher everything else that is going on in their life, okay? A simple message is going to be the most important message. So thank you everyone who's joining me live. Okay, so we should be able to get through this. Hey there, NC, good morning. We should be able to get through this relatively quickly. But again, toward the end, if you have any questions on your specific use case, your specific business, then we'll get into that if that's what you need. So I want to talk to you about some questions that you should ask yourself in your own business. And then so that hopefully it can be a little bit more concrete, I will give you a fictitious business and show you it in implementation. And hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense, okay? So first thing, if you don't remember anything today, I want you to remember that confused customers do not buy. Okay. So I think a lot of times in marketing, companies will hire marketing companies to get more people to their business, right? So if you're in an online business, like, work online digital, like I do, you may think I just need more traffic, right? But you need them to convert. So if traffic is not an issue that anyone has, you can pay for more traffic. It's the conversion that can be an issue. If you pay for all these people to come to your website or learn more about your company or come to whatever online space you have, but your message is so unclear that it doesn't convert, then you know that it is clearly a marketing message. Okay, so let's just look at what your core is. You want to ask yourself, what is the core benefit of my product and service? What is someone experiencing when they first look for someone like you or a product like yours? And then how are they different after they interact? Next we have, can a child understand your message? And this is not to test or insult the intellect of your potential customer. This is just making sure that your message is very clear with everything that is competing for your customer's attention. You having a very complex message where people have to decipher it and they're not quite sure what some of the words mean, it's going to be really, really difficult. And so remember, putting out there what problem you solve and how you solve it is very, very important. And doing that so a child can understand it is even better. Okay, next we have, am I using a whole bunch of industry jargon? Now, for the individuals who have been going to school for years, those industries tend to do this quite often. So in your industry with your colleagues, you speak in certain vocabulary that everyone else who is in your industry understand it and they understand it well. But if you were doing B2C, business to consumer, they're not going to know your industry or your messaging or anything like that. Hey there, folks. Hey, thank you so much. They're not going to know the vocabulary that you're using. So you have to make sure that you are communicating in such a way like a child, but without all the industry jargon. If you're looking at your marketing message and we're like, okay, are these like 3-syllable words that only someone who went to school for 10 years like myself know? If that is the case, you need to simple down your message. Okay, this is another question you need to ask yourself. How would you explain your product, your service, your business to a friend? Now, if you think about a lot of businesses, even when I ask businesses around here, I say, so how do people know about you? How do people learn about you? And a lot of times, if people aren't paying for market, they are strictly they're strictly working off of referrals. And that's a very dangerous place to be, because if you don't get any more referrals, then your business can dry up. You want to be able to almost have like a marketing machine that when you turn the wheel, more people come in. And when you don't want more people because it will sacrifice maybe how the quality of the work, you can turn that faucet off. That's what you need in a marketing machine. Okay. So when you think about referrals, why do you listen to your friends' referrals, right? You listen to your friends' referrals because a lot of times you have things in common. They sound passionate about it. They're excited about it. And they explain things that they love in a very simple way. No one is communicating you all like your friends don't communicate. I hope maybe you do. Maybe your friends are just huge brainiacs, right? Maybe that's how they communicate. The vast majority of people are not communicating like that. So think about, how would you explain your product or service to your friend? Will they get it? Will they understand it, right? It's been plenty of times, love my friends, hey y'all. But they'll say, San, I have this business idea, and they'll tell me about it. And I'm excited for them because I love it. And I'm like, I have no idea what you just said to me. Now, because it's in your head, you may associate and see all the benefits of it, but you're not selling it to you. You're selling it to other people. So if the message is not clear, don't get mad at them. Just understand it's not clear enough, and then you have to work on that. Okay, what is unnecessary in my message? What can you throw away? Do you have some long, drawn out message that may not necessarily convey what the benefit is for your customer and how they be different? Hey there, VC. Hey there. That is what you have to look at. Is there a portion of your marketing message that you can kind of like just take out? It's doing too much. So think about that. Look at your marketing message now and really decide, because again, you got seconds. You have seconds to connect with an audience that don't know you, and you got about 4 seconds to do it. So immediately they want to know, and you want to be able to provide what is your overall benefit. Okay. Questions to ask yourself continued. Does my message clearly state the problem I'm solving? For those of you who are on the services field, this is super, super important. And if you've watched the other videos, we had some examples about Amanda and how she had this consulting company for IT. What is the problem you are solving? And I know some of you have reached out to me and said, well, this is where I'm stuck. I don't really know how to say what problem I'm solving. So saying the problem you're solving shouldn't be that difficult. If you can't easily say it, it may mean that the problem isn't big enough. And if the problem isn't big enough, then you have to ask yourself, okay, is it big enough that people are going to pay to have this problem solved? Because if that's not the case, not that anything's wrong with that, but you may have to go back to the drawing board. The reason why we're doing this series, this unique value proposition and everything that comes with it, is so that if you haven't started yet, you can go through these exercises and really think about the whole aspect of your business so that you're not stuck spending all this money and time and some pieces didn't work yet, right? And if you're already in business, but maybe you're not scaling to the way that you want, then you can look at some of the videos and check and say, okay, did I clearly identify who my target market is? Let me work on that. Did I clearly make my messaging? Did I clearly articulate the problem? Did I clearly make myself be unique? Okay, so you can be able to self-diagnose where things are amuck, and hopefully with the questions that we put at the end of the video, it'll be easier for you to convey if you're stuck. I hope that's the goal. We'll see how that happens. Okay, questions. What are the emotional triggers in your message? And this can be good or bad, right? So emotionally, like if you're, let's say you're selling, to a spa, there are very much emotional words and triggers that you want to put in your message. If you are, creating a package for the busy professional that just doesn't have time, but just needs to take care of themselves, what words and emotions can you trigger by communicating your message to that audience? And what do you want to happen after they receive the message? What's the call to action? Do you want them to download an app? Do you want them to book an appointment? Do you want them to purchase a product? Do you want them to download a newsletter? What is it that you want them to do? And are you making that very clear in your messaging? Okay, if you are going to pay to get traffic to your message, you want to be very clear what you want your call to action. Okay, so those are the type of things you want to think about as it relates to your message. Those are the questions you want to ask yourself. And so we're going to talk about a fictitious business. And this fictitious business is a eco-friendly smart home gardening kit. Okay. And the target market for this is homeowners interested in sustainability and gardening. So let's talk about the core message of this fictitious company. The core message is making sustainable gardening easy and accessible for everyone. That's the core message. It's a little boring, but the core message, all the same. Now we're asking, before I show you that, now I'm going to ask, is that core message simple enough that a child will understand it, right? A child is not going to understand the word sustainability, right? Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of brainiac kid you have, but I don't really understand tangibly what the word sustainability means. Like, I know I should do it, but it's like what is that per se? Like, is that when you put old food into no, that's composting. So so what is sustainability? And would a kid understand it? Probably not. Accessibility to a child? Probably not. What does that mean? And this is grow your garden easy at home and help the earth. Easy, right? So I know in 3 seconds, okay, I can have a garden in my home easily. I'm here for that. And I can help the earth. I love the earth. Okay, this sounds good, right? You see how that message is just a lot clearer than the actual core message of making sustainable gardening easy and accessible for everyone. And granted, it may do that, but okay. All right, so this as a child would do it. Next we have, are you using industry jargon? So in the example we had for their core message, sustainability, agriculture, technologies, all of that can be considered some jargon. Automated, I would love that. Hydroponic, I know it has something to do with the water. What's going on? You know what I mean? So if I have to like kind of go into the message and figure out like what, but what can I say? What? Too many seconds. Took too long. I don't know. Do I want it? But do I want a garden in my house that's easy and I can help the earth? Absolutely. I'm here for it. So do you see how, and this, again, this is just a crazy example, but think about in your industry, for those of you who may be in the medical field, in the financial field, in the investment field, you know that there's a certain amount of language that goes around. And that's the reason why half the people don't know anything in those industries. Not that it's not important. It's just you have to convey it in a different way, right? Okay, next. How would you tell a friend? It's like having a tiny garden, smart garden in your home that takes care of itself and is good for the planet. That's not how I would say it to my friends. I would probably say, I have a tiny little garden and I don't have to do anything. That's how you sell me. I don't have to do anything and it's a little garden and I can get my vegetables and I am excited, right? And so see that excitement? This is real excitement because I'm shopping for one of these, which is why it ended up being an example. But that is the excitement I have, that I can have, like, I have groceries in my house that I don't have to go get, and I can't grow anything. So then it has to be easy. And if it take care of the planet, I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I love the planet, you know? So if it does that too, all of those are the things that matter, but understand how the messaging is different. I hope you guys are seeing that. Okay. How are you specifically saying the problem that it's solving? No more struggling with outdoor space or gardening know-how. Our kit makes it easy. See how basic and simple that is? I don't have to know how to plant something, but I can have some vegetables in the house, in my house. I don't have to have a backyard. These are the obvious benefits. So what are the obvious benefits in your product or service? Okay, ease. We're talking about those emotional triggers, right? What are those words? Listen, ease. That's an emotional word, right? Remember soft life? Like all of that easing, soft. It feels like, okay, I could do this. It's not hard. Joy of gardening. Very emotional. Joy is an emotion. That means you're happy. You're happy about gardening and contributing positively to the environment. Okay? So see about thinking about those type of emotional words that can easily convey what you were trying to say. And you didn't use large words to do that. Ease, short, joy, short, what? Like, come on. And the message is very easy, right? Now, take action. What do you want them to do? I want you to smart. I want you to start your smart, sustainable garden today. That's a mouthful. That's a tongue twister. That is what you want, right? So with that being said, I hope that it makes sense as to how this all works for your business. For those of you live, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put in the chat for me. If not, then we can end that out. But if you haven't seen the rest of the videos that we have done, be sure to check them out. It's the whole series playlist. It should be in the description of this box. The unique value proposition. We started off with identifying your ideal target market, expressing why you are unique specifically, articulating your problem. We have a bunch of different videos, and including with this one. This one is the last one of the series, okay? And so the goal is that you take all this and you apply this in your business, whether you are currently in business or if you're getting ready to start something. Think about these components, because ultimately you need all of them to come up with an effective marketing message. If you're saying, listen, I'm not a marketer, I don't feel like doing this, a marketing agency is going to ask you the same questions. Like, that's literally at the first beginning of our messages. We're asking, okay, who's your ideal market? And just saying, oh, it's women in their 50s who live in this state is not detailed enough. You think all women in their 50s who live in the same state do the same thing, have the same problems, like the same? No, they don't. So you have to go much more specific. So if you are still struggling on your ideal market, I would not recommend moving to the other videos, staying at one place and making sure that your ideal market is clearly defined. Okay. So have a couple questions coming in. Black women built wealth. Yes. Do I have a Q and X section geared up so that everyone can see your question? Did I do that? I did. Whew. Good luck. All right. Okay. How important is a website in a new business? It's not. It's not. It's not. I don't want you. I'm actually. So next week, after we're done with this, I'm going to talk to you about some technology and some things that you can implement if you don't have a website. Please do not feel that you can't start your business because you don't have a website. And I'm hearing that more often than I like. Okay, because there's so much software out here that exists that it will create the link for you. It will have a link where someone can either set up an appointment with you, they can either purchase your class, or they can do a workshop with you. You don't need a website. Now, what you do need to be able to have some content out in the world that shows that you know what you're talking about, or that your product does this. Customers at least have to be able to understand what they're getting. That doesn't necessarily have to come from a website. Whether you are creating, you have social media that provides that for you, whether you're doing speaking engagements and that's providing that for you, if you're doing 20-minute free consultations initially, whatever you're doing to market yourself and put yourself out there, that is what you need. It doesn't necessarily have to be a website. So don't let that get you stuck. Okay, but you do have to be very clear on everything else we've talked about. Your target market. What problem are you solving? How is the person going to be different? How are you unique specifically? You have to be very clear in those. You have to write that down. You have to answer those questions, and you have to convey that information to whatever distribution channel you want to use to find customers. So I hope that makes sense. And I am moving slowly today, guys. It's Sunday on Portugal. Not okay. I don't even catch you live. Yes, you catch me live. Did you have any questions? Come to me. Okay, I like listening to her talk. Well, thank you. Mary Beth, hey, did you make it back safely and sound? Mary Beth was just in Portugal, and I was honored to be able to have lunch with her. So did you make it back to Portugal? Enjoy yourself? Okay, this was helpful. Jess, I'm glad it was helpful. And guys, if you have any question, thank you. One less thing to worry about. Yes, honey, you do not have to worry about a website. Now, you should get one at some point. You don't need it to start your business. Okay, so don't stress over that. And we'll talk about all that next week. I wanted to get this unique value proposition out of the way because I'm going to keep sending y'all here. Because even when I talk to people, I'm like, okay, so who's your client? And they were like, well, and you can't, no, you got to be a little bit more clear who you're marketing to if you want to make money. Like, if you don't know, how they know? How your customer know they supposed to be working with you if you don't know how to communicate to them? Like, everybody's you're going to be lost. They going to be lost to find you. You can't find them. So it's going to be really critical. So just do the steps in the unique value proposition. Show why you are unique. If you are a career coach, if you are selling a product, why should someone work with you or buy your product versus someone else? That is what needs to be clear. Where you say that message can vary. You want to hang out where your ideal customer is. So for you, Black Women Build Wealth, if you already know your target market, if they hang out somewhere online right now, then you need to be there. And if there's people who already have that audience, you can offer, hey, can I teach a podcast that'll help your audience do X, Y, and Z? Or can I teach a workshop for them? Like, bring value to the people who already have the audience that will help their audience. And that can easily turn into, okay, I'll host a Zoom training session and people register. You get their email address and then you continue to market to them, continuing to show them value. Okay. So no website had to be involved there. All right. But at some point, you may knew, AI is coming out and changing things. So now in my industry, we're like, it's like going to websites going to be a thing, or is everything going to convert to chatbots? Like, that's the stories and conversations we're having in our very nerdy conversations. All right. Do we have any other questions? Questions for the website? Okay. Do you think it's a good idea to put a QR code on? Can you tell me what the product is? Do you think it's a good idea to place a QR code on a product? I mean, what's your goal? What are you doing it for? What do you want? And are they sitting around with a phone with your product to be able to go to the QR code? It just really depends, but I would need to know more about the product. Again, I think the link in getting to the website is more of the distribution or the traffic, right? That's one aspect. But you want a conversion, right? Okay, so Jess, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit, Jess. Honey, what kind of honey? And why does someone get your honey versus someone else's honey? Who's your market? Talk to me. It's hard when we're doing it live because there's always this like delay. So when I'm speaking, you guys won't hear it for seconds. And so, let's see, Jess. Jess says honey. What kind of honey? Is it Maduka honey? Is that how you say it correctly? They say it has a lot of health benefits. All right, Jess. Okay, you can't get all the information about the product. Okay, well, so this is what I will say. Jess has secret honey. All right, community, Jess's honey is secret, so that must mean you really need to get it because she got some secret, powerful stuff going on with her honey, right? So, yeah, you just want to make sure that if it costs more than regular honey, then you're explaining why. Are there medical benefits? Well, I don't know if you can actually say that in marketing without testing it. What are the benefits? Why this honey versus another honey that they may be able to get in the grocery store? Why is your honey different? What is the story? Harvesting honeybees. I love that, Jess. I would love to hear more about it. So this is something, okay, so remember we talked about the personal story, what was that, last week? And why that was important. So Jess, your personal story might be more about the bees, not necessarily your personal story, but more about the bees story, right? Like, why are these bees so exceptional? Where they come from? We want to know, like, where they grew up. No, I'm playing. We want to know about these bees. Okay, tinkering with a new product. Okay, great. So whatever that is, just remember that your audience and the way that you communicate to them is going to be different depending on who the target market is. So if we're talking about the people who may be into organic products and sustainability and all that other stuff, you're going to want to market to them differently than, let's say, the busy mom who has her career and she is looking for this as a pick-me-up to help with whatever. You know what I mean? So those people are different, and it doesn't mean that your product can't be purchased by everyone. It just means your messaging has to be different when it's in different places. If it's going to convert. Conversion is the thing here, folks. You can have all the messages you want in the world, but if it doesn't stick and people don't get it, then it don't matter. Right? So I hope this made sense. Again, this is being very simple, very clear, using trigger emotional words, but still making the sentences very clear and understandable. And hopefully that makes sense. So again, keeping your message clear and simple is what we were doing today. We are done with our unique value. I can't see the thing anymore on my, why is that? We are done with, what is that thing that's not working? We're done with our unique value proposition. That's interesting. Why didn't that work? Sorry. Tech is being weird here. Thanks for coming out. I'm going to go too. Yeah. So I hope this was helpful, folks. And again, we're done with unique value proposition. Next week, we're going to move more to software and no, we're not doing hardware, just software for your business, particularly if you're on like myself and you travel a lot. We're going to show you how to use some systems on creating content, project management, and that type of thing. So that's what we'll be talking about. We just had to get this part out the way. So I created a playlist so you can go back to this at any time. And yeah, so hope you are staying warm and safe wherever you're located and saying goodbye from Portugal. Till next time.